Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Have you ever wondered why a soccer ball stays still until you kick it? Or why you feel pushed back in your seat when a car suddenly speeds up? Or how rockets launch into space? The answers to all these questions, and so much more, can be found in three simple, yet incredibly powerful rules discovered over 300 years ago by Sir Isaac Newton. Today, we're diving deep into Newton's three laws of motion, the absolute bedrock of classical physics. So buckle up, because we're about to unlock the secrets of how everything in our universe moves. Before we jump into the laws themselves, let's talk about what physics is. At its core, physics is the science of trying to understand the fundamental principles of the universe. It's about asking why and how things work, from the tiniest atoms to the largest galaxies. The branch of physics we're exploring today is called classical mechanics, which deals with the motion of objects we see in our everyday lives. And the star of this show is Sir Isaac Newton. His work completely revolutionized our understanding of motion, force, and gravity. These laws are so fundamental that they're still used today to design cars, build bridges, and even plan space missions. They are the language the universe uses to describe movement. Alright, let's get into the first law, Newton's first law of motion, also known as the law of inertia. It states that an object at rest will stay at rest, and an object in motion will stay in motion with the same speed and in the same direction, unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. That might sound a little formal, so let's break it down. Basically, objects are kind of lazy. They want to keep doing whatever it is they're already doing. If a book is sitting on your table, it's not going to magically start flying around the room. It will stay right there, at rest, forever, unless you or something else, like a gust of wind, applies a force to it. The second part of that law is about objects already moving. Imagine you're in outer space, far away from any planets or stars. If you throw a baseball, it won't slow down or change direction. It will just keep going in a straight line at the same speed forever and ever. Why? Because there's no force to stop it. Here on Earth, things are different. If you roll a ball across the floor, it eventually slows down and stops. That's because of an unbalanced force called friction. The friction between the ball and the floor, and the air resistance, are forces that act on the ball to change its state of motion. So the key takeaway from the first law is this concept of inertia. Inertia is the property of an object to resist changes in its state of motion. The more mass an object has, the more inertia it has. It's much harder to push a car than it is to push a shopping cart, because the car has more mass and therefore more inertia. It has more resistance to changing its state from being at rest. Now that we understand that a force is needed to change motion, let's move on to Newton's second law. This one is where we get into the math, but don't worry, it's super intuitive. The second law says that the acceleration of an object is directly proportional to the net force acting on it and inversely proportional to its mass. This is most famously written as the equation F equals ma, or force equals mass times acceleration. This is one of the most important equations in all of physics. Let's unpack what it means. First, acceleration is just a fancy word for any change in velocity, which means speeding up, slowing down, or changing direction. The law says that if you want to make an object accelerate, you need to apply a net force. The more force you apply, the more it accelerates. This makes perfect sense, right? If you push a swing gently, it moves a little. If you push it really hard, it accelerates much more and swings higher. That's the directly proportional part. The second part of the equation, the inversely proportional to mass part, is just as important. It means that for the same amount of force, a heavier object, one with more mass, will accelerate less than a lighter object. Imagine you have a bowling ball and a tennis ball. If you push both of them with the exact same amount of force, which one will speed up faster? The tennis ball, of course. Because it has less mass, the same force produces a much greater acceleration. The bowling ball with its large mass will barely budge. So F equals m, it beautifully connects three key concepts: the force you apply, the mass of the object you're applying it to, and the resulting change in motion or acceleration. It allows us to calculate exactly how much an object's motion will change when a certain force is applied. It's the engine of mechanics. We've covered how objects behave on their own and how they react to a force. But what happens when objects interact with each other? That brings us to Newton's third law of motion. You've probably heard this one before. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. This law is all about pairs of forces. It means that forces never exist in isolation. Whenever one object exerts a force on a second object, the second object simultaneously exerts a force back on the first object that is equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. Let's think about some examples. When you're standing on the ground, your body is pushing down on the earth with a force equal to your weight. The third law says the earth is also pushing up on you with an equal and opposite force. That upward force is what keeps you from falling through the floor. Or think about a rocket. A rocket works by pushing hot gas out of its engines downwards. That's the action. The reaction, according to Newton's third law, is that the gas pushes the rocket upwards with an equal and opposite force. It's this reaction force that propels the rocket into space. It's not pushing against the air or the ground. It's the gas pushing the rocket. Another great example is swimming. When you swim, you push the water backwards with your hands and feet. The water, in turn, pushes you forwards, propelling you through the pool. The action is you pushing the water back. The reaction is the water pushing you forward. It's important to remember that these action-reaction pairs always act on different objects. The action force is on one object, and the reaction force is on the other. That's why they don't cancel each other out. Your push on the water and the water's push on you act on different things, you and the water, resulting in your motion. So let's do a quick recap of what we've learned. Newton's first law, the law of inertia, tells us that objects like to keep doing what they're doing. They resist changes in motion. An object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion unless an external force gets involved. Newton's second law gives us the powerful equation F equals ma. It quantifies the relationship between force, mass, and acceleration, telling us that more force means more acceleration, and more mass means less acceleration for a given force. And finally, Newton's third law reveals that forces always come in pairs. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. When you push on something, it pushes back on you with the exact same force. These three laws together form a complete system for understanding the motion of everyday objects. They explain everything from why you lurch forward when a bus stops suddenly, that's your inertia, to how a baseball player can hit a home run by applying a large force to a small mass, and how we can send probes to the furthest reaches of our solar system. It's truly amazing how these three simple rules, discovered centuries ago, govern so much of the world around us. They are the essential toolkit for anyone wanting to understand mechanics and the physical universe. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through Newton's laws of motion. I hope this has made these fundamental physics concepts clearer and more exciting for you. Understanding these laws really does give you a new way of seeing the world. If you found this video helpful and want to learn more about the amazing world of science, please give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps the channel out. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you won't miss any of our future explorations into the universe. If you have any questions or ideas for future videos, drop them in the comments below. I love reading your feedback. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.